What's going on, ballers? It's Jack here, back for another NBA draft profile, taking a look at Robert Williams, the center prospect from Texas A&M. Yes, he played power forward in college, but no, he will not be a four-man at the next level. He will assuredly play the 5 position in the NBA. Now, who is Robert Williams? Well, at 6'9", 240, with a 7'6" wingspan, and a 2-time SEC Defensive Player of the Year, Robert Williams has all the tools to be a defensive impact player for many years to come. With 2-year averages of 26 minutes, 11 points a game, 9 rebounds, and 2.5 blocks, he profiles as a rim-running rim protector, which is the ideal 5-man in today's NBA. And while he may not have the adequate height necessarily at 6'9", although that's perfectly reasonable in today's NBA for the 5 position, the length and his athleticism more than make up for whatever qualms you may have about a 6'9" center. Now, his shooting also, I think, improved a little bit from year 1 to year 2. Overall, 59% field goal shooter, but improved to 63% as a sophomore. So about 6-7 point jump from his freshman year when you consider the average. Now, defensively, this he's a lot of fun to watch, and I know a lot of you guys saw his performance in the NCAA tournament, and I think that can be a good representation of what Robert Williams looks like when everything's going right. Now, unfortunately, that wasn't the case for the entire season, but what it looked like was a guy with incredible length and athleticism, combining it with very good defensive instincts and anticipation on that end of the court, as well as an ability to switch out into smaller players and keep with them while moving his feet effectively. It's all you want to see out of a defensive 5-man in today's NBA, and he just possesses all of the qualities. To go along with that, he really limits the amount of fouls he commits, and so that's just another bonus really to Robert Williams, because you see a lot of guys coming out, who maybe are prolific shot blockers, but they certainly have foul-prone tendencies, and Williams, for the most part, does not have those. Also, I think he has a very good motor, although at times it can be inconsistent. I really do think most of the time it runs well, and he moves well off the ball as well. Offensively, he definitely still has some ways to go, and we'll get into that in a second here. But in terms of what he does well on the offensive end of the court, he finishes well. We've seen that. He can finish through contact and obviously above opposing players. He's got very good body control, a thing that I think is underrated in prospects. He's able to contort his body, make difficult catches, and really, while he's not developed in terms of his skill moves, he's able to move off the ball and create openings for his teammates to pass him the basketball. And he learned to move well off of Tyler Davis, the center at Texas A&M. Now, negatively, he didn't improve so much from year 1 to year 2 offensively. And the free throw shooting got worse, 47% from the free throw line. The mechanics aren't terrible. There's a little bit of a hitch at the top, but it doesn't look bad. It's kind of like DeAndre Jordan's shot, where it doesn't look bad. There's a little bit maybe you'd want to clean up, but it just does not seem to find the bottom of the net. It's going to be a major concern for teams moving forward. Now, also offensively, like I said, there's not much of a skill set there. He can't really face up guys and attack off the dribble. His post-up game, while he did show some touch in the NCAA tournament and throughout the season at times, it's not really something that is a go-to move, and it's something that definitely needs to be developed more. Also, you just don't see that many guys posting up anymore, and for someone without that skill set, I just don't see that being where Robert Williams goes. Lastly, I think, he can disappear at times in the offensive end of the court, and I know he's not a guy who creates his own shot, so that is bound to happen, but that's where the motor questions come, the inconsistencies come, because sometimes on the offensive end of the court, he's not as active as you'd like him to be. Now, he was suspended at the start of the season. It's a little bit of a red flag, as well as the other inconsistencies throughout his play. Lastly, really, ultimately, the lack of progression from year 1 to year 2 is definitely a concern in just the fact that, you'd like to see one part of his game really improve from his freshman year to his sophomore year. It's something that, I like to see out of prospects who return, who stay multiple years at the NCAA level, something you've seen in a guy like Mikal Bridges. Unfortunately, not something I've seen in Robert Williams' game. While I do think he's gotten better in terms of smaller things, like in terms of his awareness and shot selection, skill-wise, I didn't think we saw the improvement that we'd like from year 1 to year 2. So ultimately, I think Robert Williams goes somewhere between 12 and 18 in this year's class. I think he's a guy who goes right at the end of the lottery or just after it, and really has the potential to be a guy who knows his role at the next level as a rim running, rim protecting 5-man. And really, I don't necessarily see too much more growth for Robert Williams moving forward. There's definitely a risk that he flames out because of the lack of improvement, but because he has the defensive skill set and the defensive mindset, I think that's going to help him out, opposed to maybe some other guys who are offensively minded and therefore can't protect the paint. And I think that is going to be what ultimately helps Robert Williams and gets him on the court in the first place. But guys, let me know what you think about Robert Williams. What other prospects do you want to see me profile here on Talking Ball? And what do you think of this video? As always, check us out Tuesday nights at 6:30 for our weekly NBA and NFL draft show, Draft Man Standing. Peace.